So, hello everyone and welcome to the introduction for Graduate Futures Service. My name is Tahina Mitra and I am here with my colleague Elaine Philpott. We are part of the consultancy team within Graduate Futures. We provide support for your career, freelancer and business startup ambitions. The Graduate Futures students and alumni by supporting your industry engagement, providing tailored one-to-one sessions, hosting events to build your skills. As an overview of this presentation, we will be going through careers, professional development and enterprise, learn, develop, practice, how to find LCF Graduate Futures on Moodle, how to use the effective CV and cover letter module, how to use our canvases, Graduate Futures activities, and Graduate Futures events.
Graduate Futures has three key subject areas: careers, core, and enterprise. So with careers, we have career knowledge, and that could be anything from gaining placements, internships, or jobs within industry. On the right, we have enterprise knowledge, and this is working, could be working if you're interested in working as a self-employed person, freelancing, or starting your own business. And we also have core knowledge, and that's about learning about workplace culture and transferable skills to support your professional development. And you can use either the careers surface or the enterprise, or both of them, depending on what your areas are that you're interested in, and also using the core knowledge as well to develop your career path. We have structured our offer into three levels. The first level is called Learn, and that's a range of resources, digital resources, and it's an opportunity for you to explore these in your own time, or perhaps they might help you alongside some of our other offers. We also have a develop section, and that's to enhance your knowledge and skills. And so you can join our skills workshops and activities and grow your careers and enterprise knowledge. And then this moves into practice. And this is using all of your attributes that you have built and attending our events. So to go into a little bit more detail, our Learn offer, as I said, is an online learning. So it's developing your industry knowledge with our extensive range of podcasts, webinars, learning guides, and online modules. There's also placement support, so you can find exciting industry placement opportunities as part of your accredited course. Our Develop offer has a range of areas. We have personalised one-to-one support, so you can attend a specialist coaching session. It's designed to support you on your career journey and to grow your entrepreneurial practice. We also have skills workshops, and they can take part in tailored, practical and interactive workshops. They can help you to develop your personal and professional skills, and they could be across a range of different areas. So things like business modeling, for example, interview techniques, finance, storytelling, negotiating, and much more. So they really support and develop your skills and deepen your knowledge to support your career path. We also have industry collaborations, so you can gain access to a wide network of industry specialists through our dedicated support and events. And our practice offer. So this is really about industry, and it's really about our community and networks. So don't miss out on our range of different areas that we offer. So we offer things like boot camps, looking at entrepreneurial areas and development, topical network debates. We have hackathons, we have interview skills and activities with other universities and organisations. We also have a range of projects and competitions. So keep an eye out on our Moodle page, which we'll be looking at in a moment and going into a bit more detail about. We always advertise our projects and competitions on there, and they can really help to enhance your CV or your profile and really help to develop you on your career path.
Okay, so now I'm going to talk you through to the Graduate Futures Moodle page. So our Graduate Futures Moodle page and all resources from learning materials, webinars to one-to-one online bookings and on the right hand side, you will be able to see the events and advertisements of activities feed. So as you log in, you can see on this screen, if you log into Moodle, you can scroll through the list of courses, access on the Graduate Futures page. Then once you've clicked onto the page, once you log into Moodle the next time, you can see the Moodle dashboard at the top of your page. And as explained, here is where you can find all the activities that you need in terms of booking your appointment, accessing any of the files or resources, from documents to webinars. We also, on the right-hand side, have the events feed and all the kind of news, up-to-date news that you need to participate in. Now I'm going to talk you through in terms of the effective CV and cover letter module. So the effective CV and cover letter online module takes you through how to create and enhance your CV and cover letter. The module discusses understanding your industry, CV structure, formatting and presentations. You must complete the online CV cover letter module to access the Graduate Futures one-to-one service. The importance of this module, which I need to kind of point out these points, is all tasks must be completed and video played to complete the module. A video will pop up once you have completed the module.
We also have the Graduate Futures Canvases, and these are a bite-sized resource to help you plan and develop your learning. They cover a range of topics, such as starting a business, career planning, freelancing, branding, finances, sustainability and resilience. They can be found in our Learn section, so that's our digital resources, and you can access these anytime. But we really encourage you to start and to create a draft with at least one and bring them with you to one of your one-to-one sessions. This is an example of one of our canvases. This is called a brand new canvas, and this could be used if you are looking to develop perhaps a CV or a cover letter. So you're thinking about yourself as a brand. Perhaps you're looking for a placement, or maybe you're a freelancer and you want to really develop your own brand. So this canvas can help you to map your unique selling points and understanding your values. You would just need to fill in the boxes, and then you can bring a canvas like this to your one-to-one, and there's a whole range of different ones depending on what area you're interested in, and they'll help to really enhance the one-to-one for you.
And now I'm going to talk you through to the other resources that we have. So we have here the My Jobs exclusive job board. All students can sign up for the LCF My Jobs, our exclusive job board. The site advertises graduate jobs, internships, placements, and freelance opportunities. We have a strong relationship with our industry partners, and they want to work with our LCF students. Also, our LCF alumni who previously studied at LCF are now in the industry and also advertises opportunities on My Jobs. You can sign up in an account using your LCF student ID. Your account does not expire, and you can continue using the LCF My Jobs after you graduate. Other resources that we have is listening to the Graduate Futures podcast series or Careers in Fashion on the LCF official SoundCloud. We have externals and industry guests that come in and have these podcast sessions and discussions of current topics. Improve your technical skills with LinkedIn Learning, so you can have access for free on how to develop LinkedIn profiles and also access to the free courses as well. Build your online identity with UAL Portfolio. This is our exclusive UAL Portfolio site where you can create your own digital portfolio and interlink it with all your work and also your professional social media accounts. Sign up with software workshops through online resources, through the online resources booking system.
We also have a range of other activities. We have one-to-one support, so all students can book a 30-minute placement, careers or enterprise one-to-one through Moodle. These one-to-ones run regularly during the term time. Before attending your one-to-one, I really encourage you to complete either the CV and cover letter module, the MyCav module, or a canvas, as I talked about before, because it will really be relevant to your session and it will really help to enhance the level of feedback we can give you during the session. Make sure you do come on time to the session, and also if you do need to cancel, please just make sure that you cancel the appointment so it frees up the opportunity for another student. We also have skills workshops, and these are a way of you being able to develop and enhance your skills and knowledge. They cover a range of different areas, so interview skills development, for example, portfolio support, legal and IP support. We look at things like difficult conversations, how to negotiate, looking at conflict management. We also cover areas such as ethics and working rights, and also look at areas such as sustainability and practice.
And now I'm going to talk you through to the additional events that we have. So we actually have a virtual careers fair. This is a space for recent graduates and students to engage with their professional development. The online careers fair will provide you with the opportunity to network with the industry across the globe, attend valuable webinars, and receive industry insights. We do have a strong relationship with the industry across fashion and lifestyle, and they all like to engage with LCF students and participate in such activities and events.
We also have the LCF Enterprise Challenge. So the Enterprise offer as part of Graduate Futures service, we have a range of different activities. One of them is the Enterprise Challenge, which we run annually. So the challenge encourages cross-student collaboration. So we work with local communities, fashion and lifestyle, inspiring positive change and well-being. Teams of students create, showcase an innovative product or service that can make a real difference to the community or consumer. The winner will receive developmental support for their business. This is an example of one of the winners last year. We also have a creative hack. This is another one of our activities that we run as for the enterprise offer. So LCF teams up with other great London universities to organise an annual creative hack. It's an exciting 2-day event, and it helps students to develop entrepreneurial skills and new business ideas. It's an opportunity to tackle some of the big challenges facing London, such as the environment, smart cities, the creative industries, and health and well-being.
And now I'm going to talk to you about the additional events that we have. So we have networking events. Graduate Futures provides the chance for students and alumni to attend meetups, networking debates, speed networking, and company site visits. This is a chance for you to build your contacts whilst learning and practicing the transferable careers and enterprise skills you have learned through the year. We also provide recruitment support, so Graduate Futures works with brands, recruitment agencies and small businesses. Our events, in collaboration with industry partners, offer students and alumni recruitment advice and opportunities.
We also collaborate with UAL Careers and Employability. We also use the Creative Attributes Framework within our service and offer. So the Creative Attributes Framework, or MyCAF as it's better known, enables students and graduates to develop ethical qualities, abilities and behaviours to prepare for their future. MyCAF connects the curriculum to professional practice, helping students to continuously develop their professional practice. If you want to find out more about this, you can find out more by completing the MyCAF online module. And as I mentioned before, you can bring that to your one-to-one, and this will help to give you more of an enhanced feedback session.
Following from what careers and employability offer, they have a range of selection of activities and engagement. So they have work, job and internships, events and workshops, one-to-one sessions, opportunities to exhibit and sell work, online support for graduates, professional mentoring, funding and awards. Your next step is to explore our Graduate Futures support guides, complete the Effective CV cover letter module, complete UAL Careers and Employability MyCAF module, begin filling out our Careers and Enterprise Canvas to then book a one-to-one session. Attend our activities and events throughout the year. Here is our contact details if you have any further inquiries, or you can also find our contact details on Moodle, but all our resources are on Moodle, so please feel free to look at our Moodle page and explore the content that we have. Thank you.
I'm just going to share my screen with you, and we can just go into Moodle, and I can show you where some of the resources are that we just talked about in the presentation. Okay, so hopefully you can all see that. So this is the Moodle page, and you can see here that we've got Graduate Futures here. So I'm just going to click onto Graduate Futures here. So when you open up your Moodle page, you'll be able to click on courses, and this will be one of the links. So this is where you will see all of the information that me and Tahina have just spoken about. So let me just take you through a few different areas, because sometimes it's quite helpful to actually see it rather than just sort of talking about it. So you can see here we've got one of our podcasts up here, and this is always changing as well. So this one's about sustainable thinking with Extinction Rebellion. So that's really worth listening to. It was only done in June this year. And if we scroll down, we can see here that this is a section where you can book your one-to-ones. So this is what I was speaking about earlier when I spoke about booking a placement one-to-one. You can see here. Or you can book one-to-one for careers or enterprise. So this is the area where you look to be able to then take you through, and you can do a personalized booking. So you'll get a time slot option and a date option. So we have given you the opportunity to build it in around what's convenient for you. This is also a link here called the CV and Cover Letter module. And it's really important that if you come to a one-to-one, particularly if it's a careers one-to-one, or a placement one-to-one, that you've completed this module. It takes you through all the basic principles of how to write a really good CV and cover letter, gives you a really good structure guide, lots of tips and hints about what makes these documents really effective, and the sorts of things you should be including, and areas of things that perhaps you should avoid. It also, if you make sure that you complete it, because at the end there's also an opportunity where they'll give you examples, and these are really helpful for you. There's sort of examples of different CVs depending on what course you're on, what particular area. So if you're a design student, or you're a business student, or you're a student with the School of Media and Communication, there's lots of different examples of CVs there. So they're really helpful for you to be able to sort of start to build that. So when you do come to your one-to-one, you have some documents that are quite well established, and we can give you more enhanced feedback. And it's the same for enterprise. So as I said, make sure you look at for the canvases as well. So if you're thinking about starting a business or freelancing, make at least a draft on those canvases. So we'll just scroll down here. We also have sort of useful links as well. So these are announcements. They could be things that we're recently sort of sending out that particular week. There might be an event on, or something that you need to sign up to. We also have our jobs board here, My Jobs. So make sure you sign up to that. You'll just need your university email and I think your student ID. Lots of really great opportunities on there, from full-time, part-time, and placement opportunities. That's also only available to LCF students, so it's not available to any of the other colleges that are part of UAL or any external universities. And one of the great things about our jobs board is that many of the people that advertise, many of the businesses that advertise on there are people who have worked with us for a number of years. They really want to work with LCF students. And often they are alum, they have studied here themselves, so they have a sort of loyalty to come back, and they recognise the talent of the students at LCF. We also have LinkedIn Learning, so you can develop your LinkedIn profile on here, as well as developing some additional skills as well. And we have our UAL portfolio. So if you do want to put together a portfolio and you're sort of thinking, I'm not sure how to go about that, what platform do I use, what website do I use, this is a really good starting point for you. It's very easy and simple to upload your work, and it gives you a link that you can then put on something like your CV or your social media channels, and gives you an opportunity to start building the basics of a portfolio. So we have a range of different sort of clickable areas here, from getting a job, general information. We've got areas such as freelancing and starting a business, working internationally, we've got areas such as legal resources, presenting yourself. We have information on the Enterprise DIPS program that some of you may have heard of. We can certainly find out more information here. We've got a placement section. And we also have a link to careers and employability at UAL. So many people don't know this, but LCF has our own internal careers service, which is Graduate Futures, but UAL also have their own as well. So you can utilize that as well. So do make sure that you check that out and see what kind of activities they have. So you're quite lucky at LCF. You get kind of 2 services. And then on the right hand side here, we have a range of events and activities. So this is almost like a sort of news feed that you might get on a social media site, and so that really stays us up to date with kind of what's the kind of current events or activities that might be going on that week or that month. And it's really worth just sort of checking back on a regular basis to make sure you don't miss out on anything that might be particularly relevant for you. And we have such a broad range of different resources and events that go on over the calendar year. Let's just quickly look perhaps in a couple of these. So if we look at freelancing and starting a business, this just opens up a range of resources. And this is, for example, a freelance business canvas or a branding canvas. These are the ones that I spoke about before that you can fill out, certainly create a draft and bring it with you to your one-to-one. We also have a range of other resources, product costing and manufacturing webinar. So have a look into these, and they'll continue to sort of populate as the year goes on as well. We have another sort of area here, working internationally. So you can look at these kind of key resources that we have, guides to working in different parts of the world. So if you're an international student, or even if you're not, you're a home student, but you perhaps want to do a placement internationally, you can look at those. They give you lots of information around visas, etc., and networking opportunities. We'll just have a click on here. Again, there's lots of information here as well. You've got another link to the CV and cover letter module, your careers one-to-one support, careers canvas, and lots of different links here that will be really helpful for you. The cover letter template as well. We also have, let's go to the placements one as well, because that will be really helpful for quite a few of you studying. So we have a placement section here as well, so you can find out lots of different information if a placement's part of your course, whether that's a short-term placement or a long-term placement. It was known as DIPS, the Diploma in Professional Studies. So there's lots of really helpful information on here if it's sort of something you're thinking about doing, or as I said, it's part of your course, usually in your second year. And there's lots of different resources on here you can have a look at. To help you really start thinking about that process. Maybe you're coming in second year or in your first year and you're just really excited about looking at it in more detail. Careers and employability section. And as well, you can see it will just take you through to the careers and employability website, which is really helpful for you to have a look at. The creative opportunities jobs website as well. Lots of useful resources for you. So hopefully you found that.
Great, thank you very much, Elaine and Tahina. Francis, if you now want to introduce the next part of the session.
Hi everyone. Lovely. Okay, well, good afternoon everyone. My name is Frances O'Dell and I am head of the Graduate Futures Consultant team here at LCF. And just following on from the presentation that Elaine and Tahina have just given you, we thought it was opportune to maybe hear from some of our current students and also recent grads in terms of how they've engaged with the Graduate Futures service and the benefits that it's afforded them. So I'm going to ask each of the panelists to introduce themselves. So I'll do it from the sort of my screen. So Abhinav, if you go first, and it's just a brief introduction, name, course, what you're up to now, but we're going to dig a little bit deeper as the conversation flows.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm Abhinav Asokan. I completed my MA Fashion Futures last year, and before doing that, I was a high street designer, a menswear designer actually, and then I became fascinated about sustainability and innovation. So that's the main reason which I took Fashion Futures course. Then since then, my professional and personal career started to have a very uh, meaningful route. And right now, with my friend, I'm going to start my own sustainable materials company, which was funded by UAL through the Creative Enterprise Awards. So yeah.
Okay, well, hold that thought. We're going to dig deeper. Ashwini?
Hey, Francis. My name is Ashwini. I am obviously a student at London College of Fashion. I do BA Fashion Design and Development. So I'm about to go into my final year. I'm just finishing a placement year, which I worked at Rayburn and Halishan and Textile and a couple of different companies. So I've just finished that, going into final year next week. I'm also founder of the fashion tech company Artsy, which is an early stage startup. And I recently won the Mayor's Entrepreneur Competition and the Creative Enterprise Awards, and came second the Student Enterprise Challenge as well. So really focusing on my startup right now alongside final year.
Yeah, you had a busy year last year, I have to say. And Shivani?
Hi, so I'm Shivani and I study cosmetic science, and I've just finished my second year, and I'm going on a placement this week actually at CPL Aroma.
Lovely. Zana?
Hi everyone, my name is Zana. I graduated from London College of Fashion back in 2014, so quite a while ago, and I studied fashion buying and merchandising. So since then I've worked for many fashion brands, but last year I joined the Graduate Futures Department as a placements officer.
Okay, so I'm going to kick off with a question, and it's sort of, think back to when you were a first year student, and I'm just interested in whether or not you knew at the start of your LCF journey, did you always know the sort of career direction that you wanted to take, or what was the sort of catalyst that sort of piqued your interest in terms of the direction of travel? So Abhinav, you sort of alluded to that earlier. So in terms of the sustainability route, was that always something that you had from the get-go?
No, definitely not. When I came to LCF, there was never a clear-cut vision of what I really wanted to do. But then that's the best part. It's about the chaos. You know, you sort of like get through it, and you'll get to know what you really want to do. And since I already worked as a designer, so I kind of know what is the problem in the industry right now. So it sort of like motivated me and kept questioning me, why aren't you doing anything about it? So that was a major push which I had to do something which I'm doing right now.
Brilliant. And I'm just going to sort of reference Shivani and actually Shivani, Zana and Ashwini. I mean, in terms of, you know, you all took placements, and I'm interested in terms of the type of placements that you did. It's a bit cart before the horse. Did the placements inform your career sort of trajectories, or did you already know what sort of direction you wanted and you sort of sourced a placement that fitted that sort of direction? Shivani, what because you're just about to start your placement now, so how did that all come about?
Yeah, so I haven't still started my placement. I'm going to start it this week, so I can talk about the process of me getting into this placement. But so I wasn't sure about what I wanted to do either in the beginning, and I think finishing my second year I had a decent idea, but I was kind of applying to whatever placements I could, and everything that was advertised on the website. But I applied to CPL Aroma, and I specifically asked my professor as well if CPL Aroma was gonna like put up their job description, and he said, yeah, just wait it out. And finally it came out and I applied to it. But because of COVID and all of that, they weren't sure whether they were taking any more placement students. So after my deadline passed, I actually got an email from them saying that they wanted to interview me. And so that's how I got into this process of placements and actually like securing one.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And Ashwini, yourself, because Halishan and Rayburn are quite different beasts, aren't they?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think when I was looking at placements, again, like I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do, but because I think I was already sort of on that entrepreneurial journey and like associated with Graduate Futures and all of these, involved in like a lot of different things at LCF outside of my course as well. I think I was sure that I didn't want to do sort of a regular design placement. Like I think as soon as I came to LCF, I would have probably said like, oh, I want to be a designer at Alexander McQueen, you know, that typical dream that most design students have, which, I mean, for some, it's amazing that it stays the same. But obviously for others, I think you eventually bend according to what else you're interested in, what you seem to be good at. And so I just wanted to do something really different, something within fashion tech and innovation, but also within sustainability. And so Rayburn seemed like an amazing place to be because there was so much happening there in terms of innovation, but also in terms of sustainability. And so that was an amazing experience. And then again, Halishan as well, it's a creative innovation agency. And so it's they do all sorts of amazing things. So again, that was an amazing experience. And so to sort of answer your question, I think I wasn't sure going in what I wanted, but I knew I wanted to do something different and unique. And I got to do that. And I think in turn, that has definitely informed my sort of career trajectory for the future as well.
Yeah, brilliant. And Zana, yourself, because you're coming at it from a different angle. You've actually worked in industry, and now you've come to the dark side, Zana. You've come to Graduate Futures.
No, I wouldn't say the dark side. No. Yeah, I've definitely done a 360. So when I was studying fashion buying and merchandising, I had the option to do, it was a 4-week placement program. However, it ran into the Easter holiday, so I extended it for another 2 weeks. Now, I knew I wanted to get into buying, and I knew merchandising didn't quite catch my fancy. So I knew buying was the option for me. And then luckily, I got the placement at Oasis through one of my lecturers. She had a contact who worked there, and that's how I got in. So I didn't have to directly apply to them. It was just pretty much through recommendation. So I was quite lucky that way. So I was there for 6 weeks. I worked in their buying department, for their international and occasion wear department. I had such a fantastic experience that they actually called me back again to work once I graduated from uni. So I worked there for another couple of weeks. But I think if it wasn't for that placement with the buying department, I wouldn't have, I don't know if I would have gone into buying again. So that definitely did shape, those few years out in industry once I graduated.
Brilliant. And for all three of you, in terms of the Graduate Futures placement team, how instrumental were they in sort of supporting, the pre-prep, but also the sort of placement itself? Shivani, do you want to?
Yeah, so I think firstly, the university bringing us different companies and placement opportunities, that was obviously the most important and the biggest way I was exposed to the different placements that were there. And from then, I think I had one-on-one meetings with with Zana as well as other placement officers. So I think that really helped them get an understanding of me, and also I just got like so much information about say how to write my CV or the cover letter checks that were happening. I also attended all of those. And so the careers team also provides a lot of like workshops. I think like I attended the mock group discussion workshop as well as the interview skills workshop. So I think these kind of events that happen, it's very important to attend them. So that really prepared me for my interviews, and yeah, I was really able to flourish because of that.
Brilliant. I've just seen Cheryl.
Yeah,
Hi,
we've got Cheryl now. We've got Cheryl.
So Cheryl, can you hear and see us?
Cheryl, do you just want to turn your microphone on? It's the button in the middle of the bottom of your screen.
Oh, so sorry.
Oh, yeah,
Can everyone hear me
we've got
now?
you. Here we go. Oh, right.
Sorry, I'm a
Carry
very
on.
low-tech person.
No, don't worry. Hi, Cheryl. Thanks so much for joining us. We've just done a brief introduction. So do you want to introduce yourselves to our viewers and just a quick précis
Yeah,
of
sure.
what you studied, what you're up to at the minute, and then we'll dig a little bit deeper with the questions.
Well, there are hundreds of people here. So, hi everyone, I'm Cheryl. I'm the MAD Fashion Retail Management graduate from last year, and I'm now working in the merchant in Eastern UK, Taiwan. That's it.
Okay, thanks, Cheryl. And I just wanted to, just before we move away from placements, just Ashwini, in terms of your sort of placement activity, how instrumental was the placement team, and what support did you get with that whole steer?
I think it was really helpful because also at the time, for me, like that's when my startup was kind of just coming up, and so there was my project, my university project, and the startup, and there was a lot happening. So it was quite difficult for me to allocate time to sort of finding a placement and things, and it does take time, sort of making a cover letter for each application and things. And so I think it was really useful just having like people to run through my CV and kind of tell me what to change, and just that really useful feedback that in that short half an hour, like you get so much from it that it really helps you like speeding up the process and just send out applications really quickly and see who gets back to you and sort of also pick who's best for you. So.
Yeah, no, brilliant. And I just want to move on a little bit because the presentation sort of referred to the creative attributes framework, which in terms of Graduate Futures, we're mapping quite a lot of our activity going forward to those attributes. And I just wanted to ask, in terms of your career development, you're working in industry, you know, both Abhinav and Ashwini involved in some extracurricular projects. We'll dig a little bit deeper. What attributes do you feel that you've sort of honed and developed, you know, during your time at university?
I would say it made me more resilient, you know. That's definitely one thing which I learned from LCF. I have participated in many competitions, and I have failed in almost half of them. That's maybe because there's a lot of caliber in the participants, and then there's so much, it's so high and competent. But then it's not always the smartest kid that wins. It's always the resilient kid that wins. So it's always, it made me very resilient, so that whenever I have to come back, get up, I have to perform consistently.
Yeah.
So that's what makes the difference. And that's one of the main attributes, creative attributes in the framework, which I would say it's probably I can relate to.
No, brilliant. And Ashwini, yourself?
I mean, I'm just looking at the list here, and it's hard to pick specific ones because I think all of them, like definitely all of them, I'd say. But if I had to pick sort of the top ones, I'd say enterprise, obviously, which I think enterprise is also quite underrated in terms of it's not only an entrepreneur who needs to have those enterprise qualities of like being able to measure risks and sort of measure out the pros and cons and take decisions on your feet. I think that's so important even during a placement, like on any job. And another big one I'd say is agility, which is just being resourceful and just going with the flow and not being really like stuck in what you're working on at that point of time and just being open to opportunities. And also self-efficacy, because I think for me, like, I think that was one of the big ones, because being confident in your abilities, not just in terms of your hard skills, but also being confident that you're able to pick up skills quickly and able to work with people efficiently, I think is really important to sort of build self-confidence.
No, definitely. And Cheryl, I can't see you, but hopefully you can hear me. In terms of sort of your career journey and what you engage with during your time at LCF, what sort of attributes do you feel that you've developed that you've been able to sort of take into business and your startup as well?
Well, I think, can everyone hear me? I hope my microphone is working. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
fine.
So I think the most valuable skill I gained during my time at LCF is the mindset of being an entrepreneur. And I know that sounds a bit ambiguous, but by saying this, I mean, I realize being creative is not enough. So don't get me wrong, it's important. But I think I sort of have to be more realistic and practical and rational as well, because I have to build up the ability to do the market research and then to adjust my idea and to approach the market. I think that's very important, because you need to know like what the market needs and adjust yourself to approach the market.
Yeah, and it's interesting, isn't it? 2020 apart, the industries has always been volatile, ever changing. But I think in terms of, let's say, the last sort of 9 months, how have you managed that uncertainty and ambiguity in terms of, placement, Shivani, because you didn't know if there was going to be placement, but also for those of you that are working in industry or getting your businesses up and running. So how have you managed that? Because I think that's all part of the resilience, isn't it? How, is it sort of looking at the glass half full rather than half empty? What would you say, Abhinav? How have you sort of navigated?
Yeah. For me, every problem is a design problem. So for every design problem has some sort of a design solution to it. So that's how I look at whatever is happening in terms of uncertainty or ambiguity. So when I say it's a design solution, it's not just about garments or just clothing design. It's about how the system works or how the finance works. So you always need to predict and sort of like get a pre-planned solution for what's going to happen. You might not be able to predict a pandemic, but you can always predict a business which is not working. So if you can apply those solutions to a current problem, it sort of works out. So I have always followed a design process. So I always stick to it. I believe in the process, and then sort of like works out even if there is a regular situation or a uncertain situation. That's how I work.
And Cheryl, how about you? Because you're in Taiwan, you're working in industry, but you've also you were awarded the startup visa in June from the university. So how are you sort of balancing those those two things at the moment?
I would say it's always important to have some flexibility in life. So this pandemic is apparently a huge challenge for either established or new businesses. But I think it's also a good opportunity for me to have some self-reflection about my own business idea. And for this month, I have reconsidered my business model, because now everyone's sort of locked at home. They cannot go out. So now like people rely on e-commerce more. Of course, I've considered that as a part of my business in the beginning, but now we sort of have to change, like among all the e-commerce platform, how can I be different? So I think it's you just make good use of the time. Don't just stop there and then that the anxiety surrounds you, because this is not good. So for me now, I'm thinking doing some online pop-up, which is something that people rarely heard. And also I am now making good use of the time to sort of focus more on the material sourcing, because now, like materials are still there, people are still working, so you can do more research. It's actually really good. And anyway, I think the suggestion for me here is to make good use of the time, be flexible, and approach yourself to what the market needs at the moment. So you need to adjust your plan like in time. Yeah.
Yeah. And Zana, just because you're sort of working with quite a sort of extensive part of the student body, what would you say are the most important things that students should consider in terms of sort of reflecting on the challenges that we're faced today?
I think it helps that we're all going through the same situation. I think if the scenario was that it was only affecting a handful of people, then I feel like, you know, it would be a lot worse. But where we're all in it together, it kind of feels a bit more, it feels a lot more comfortable, basically. And we know that, you know, we're all in it together. We kind of just need to get on with it. But I think in this day and age, with everything going on, we need to be resilient, and we need to learn how to adapt with everything that's going on. And you know, with placements in particular, you know, you can apply to many jobs, but I think we do try and manage those expectations with the students that, you know, for maybe every 10 or 12 jobs that you're going to apply for, you may only hear back from one, and not actually to take it to heart if you don't hear back from the companies. So that's just one thing I'd say, which is really important, just to remain optimistic and just keep going, you know, just keep running that race, I guess. And also another thing which we do tell students a lot, but I don't think it goes into their head that much, is, you know, if you if you send an application off to a company and you don't hear back from them, don't just presume that you've not made it through. You know, email them, ask them where you are at in the application stage. You know, there may be things happening in the background that you don't really know. So I do try and encourage students to be proactive and to reach out to companies and to actually put their name in their face out there a bit more if they want to get the job. That's really important. I think, you know, there's a lot of competition at the moment, and plus with the pandemic there is a shortage of jobs. So I think it's really important that, you know, students put themselves out there and not to be scared at all.
It's I mean, the students will know that networking is sort of one of our key words across futures, and it's so important. And one of the things I wanted to maybe sort of just follow up with Ashwini, Cheryl and Abhinav is the presentation sort of alluded to a lot of external opportunities in terms of industry projects that students will get involved with within their courses, but also external opportunities within Graduate Futures and within some of our specialist centres. And I thought maybe Abhinav and Ashwini, maybe if you could sort of share your sort of experiences of engaging with sort of external projects. Maybe Abhinav with the sort of the caring projects.
Yeah. So that was during the early stages of the course where the Caring Awards were announced. So that's one thing which I really would cherish for a lot of time, because there's so much learning happened during that awards. In fact, the first stage of the award, I was selected, and then I was mentored by Gucci. And then Gucci asked me to change the idea. And then I asked them, why do you really want to change the idea after selecting me? They said, it's about the design aesthetics. You had it right. Your presentations, your application looks Gucci. It's not about the idea. Then I realized something. It's not about the idea. It's about how do you fit in properly within their agenda. So that's something which I really learned from Caring. And then after the semi-finals or towards the end of the competition, the industry mentoring was so crucial that that's something which you will never get from the educational institutes. They are going to tell you, Gucci will tell you that they want this, they don't want that. and you need to keep changing their ideas and presentations on a daily basis. So that learning is definitely brilliant. And eventually, when I ended up first, so it was an amazing opportunity to network with one of the pioneers in the fashion industry. And something about sustainability is definitely, they are working on something about sustainability, which really helped me to get near them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Ashwini, in terms of your sort of experiences of engaging with some external projects that's informed your career path?
So first of all, I think LCF just has so many opportunities that sometimes, I mean, you don't even realize what's happening. So to any new students and stuff, I'd say make sure, even though sometimes it can be overwhelming, like there's so many emails from so many different departments and so many sort of sections of the newsletter, I'd say like read through everything, because you never know what is interesting, you never know what'll click for you, and so just read everything and try to apply to things and just see what you're interested in and just be part of everything. And yeah, for me as well, like I think first of all, like my university course itself has a couple of external sort of courses and things. Like it has we had a collaboration with Urban Outfitters and Tengri and a couple of different brands, which was really useful because this was just before placement year, and so it kind of we got contacts through them, but we also kind of understood what it's like to work in industry, and we were able to like ask them questions and speak to them personally, which was really good. And I mean, my startup as well was the result of a collaboration between LCF's Fashion Innovation Agency and Microsoft. And that's how it started. And so, again, like it's something I just read about in the newsletter, and I thought, oh, it sounds interesting, I might as well apply. And then that 1.5 years later now, like that is my startup, that's my company. And so, yeah, I think just take every opportunity, because like, especially the external opportunities, like there are things that you're not going to be able to get easily after you leave LCF, for sure.
Yeah. And it's just I know you're sort of playing it very low key, but you know, if I look at your journey in particular in terms of the last year, we've referenced the Enterprise Challenge, which is an annual ideas competition for all students, and Ashwini came second in that and was awarded some support, and then went on to win the UAL, some seed funding from UAL, and then after that, just literally a few weeks back, was awarded the Mayor's Challenge for London with this idea. So this idea started off by Ashwini just sort of being curious about an opportunity that was in a newsletter, has spiraled now into something that, you know, when I sat in on the judging, sort of said that it could disrupt the whole of the fashion industry. So I think curiosity as well is something that's going to be key, because it is going to be death by Moodle, it's going to be death by emails. And I would just say, as students, just read rather than bin and don't read, because it will be the things that you're not aware of that could be the difference between a potential career opportunity and not. And just sort of tapping into Cheryl. Cheryl, do you want to talk a little bit about your time on your MA? Because we've got MA students that have joining us now, who are about to start what is now called the collaborative challenge rather than the collaborative unit.
It's different now.
It's got the same essence to it, but you came in with in fact you did come in with a career idea roughly, didn't you, when you came? Do you want to sort of share a little bit about that and how you mapped that path?
Well, I think as a MA student, I would give the suggestion that the most important thing is time management, I would say, because 1 year is like, well, puff, and then it's just gone. But collaborative unit is something that I learned so much about social networking, and I would encourage especially MA students to make as many friends or to make the connection as wide as possible just with students across the course, because you never know like who's going to be the most important people to help you in the future. And yes, I came to the collaborative unit with a sort of a vague idea about what I want to do, But to be honest, at that time, I didn't even know, I didn't even have the confidence if that is going to be something real. But through the journey, I made some friends from MA fashion footwear and some from fashion design. So we sort of like do some brainstorming, and it is a good way to really focus on your business idea and think what's the possibility and what's the strength for it. And then through the whole journey, especially like working with Francis, you've been really helpful to this project because you gave us some tools like business canvas, and then to help us to sort of rationally analyze our business idea and to improve it to like what's the end, what we have right now, and then eventually we got a startup visa.
Yeah. So watch this space. And I can see some people sort of posting in the chat, and we'll get round to the questions. But if you was to impart any of your wisdom to our year ones, what would you say they should be looking at developing while they're at university to just make their career ambitions sort of more realistic? What would you say are some of the key critical things that they need to do while they're at university? Just anyone.
I can share first. I would say to have the ability to do the market research is so important, because like everyone has brilliant ideas. You never know that there are so many brilliant people in the world, but as long as you have the ability to do market research, to find the market gap, I'm sure that you can find a place for your business. And for my own experiences, I really make good use of the resource from our libraries, especially the online resource is so valuable and precious. I would recommend like new students to use Euromonitor, to use WGSN, because these are very good tools for you to do the basic market research. Yeah.
And Zana, what would you say is key for sort of students to definitely get on under their belt? I mean, is it an internship? Is it a placement? Is it some experience with industry, whether or not they're involved in a placement year or not?
Yeah, I think regardless or not, if you decide to do a placement or if you want to do it, I think it's really important that you at least get some retail experience or any kind of experience, which is, you know, where the skills are transferable into what you want to end up going into. Because when I did my placement, I didn't have no internship or placement experience. I only had retail experience, which helped me out a lot. So the advice I'd give to year one students is to try and find a bit of part-time work, you know, even if it's in retail or if it's office work or admin or whatever it may be. Just something is better than nothing, because you can work on your communication skills and working with people and so on and so forth. But I'd also say, you know, use this time to fix your CV and cover letter as well. You know, come and see the careers placements team, or, you know, get someone in the family to look over it as well. Just use this time to be as prepared as possible, because I think once you come into year two, I think it will all hit you. It will hit you at once, and you don't want to be, you don't want to not be prepared. You want to be as prepared as possible. So while you have time, you know, really sort out your application packages and try and find a bit of work. And no employer is expecting a student to have tons of placement experience. I just want to make that very clear. So don't feel like when you're applying for a placement that, oh no, they're not going to go for me because I don't have any experience. No, you're not expected to have experience at this age. So yeah, just try and get any retail work, and then just try and showcase that on your application package. That is what I would recommend at this stage.
And I'm going to pose the last question now before I go into the chat. So I just wanted to go around to everybody and ask all the sort of services that you've tapped into during your time at university in terms of Graduate Futures. What has been the most impactful, where you've thought, oh my God, that's amazing, that's sort of steered me now? So Shivani, I can't see you, but hopefully you're. Is Shivani here? Shivani gone? Or do we go to Abhinav?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, Shivani, you're here.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. My
So
microphone.
what have you felt in terms of your sort of engagement with the Graduate Futures team that it's offered you?
I think the most important thing is to be in touch with the careers team and be proactive, and only when you are putting in your effort can they help you, like securing a placement and everything. And like I mentioned previously, I think the workshops and the webinars you have to offer, I think those really help me prepare for my interviews. And at the end of the day, if you're good at your like interviews, that's when you're able to secure the right placement. So yeah, I think that's what really helped me.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Abhinav?
Yeah, I would particularly say something. There was a seminar on storytelling your business idea. That really impacted my professional career, and I still use those methods and frameworks which I learned from the Graduate Future seminar. And then next thing would be one-on-ones. So I'm pretty sure Elaine is there, and almost every other week I will have a one-on-one with her. And it was fine-tuning your presentations and applications, and for any entrepreneurs out there, it's about validating your idea on a daily basis. So I wasn't afraid to tell my ideas to everyone. I was literally telling that to everyone, say, how does it feel? What do you think about it? So that's when I started validating. So that's one thing which I really, it was very useful for Graduate Futures to validate, because that comes from a industry point of view and from an educational institution point of view. It was very useful. And yeah, that's two things which I really love about Graduate Futures.
Brilliant. And Ashrini?
So one I would say are the workshops that are held through the year, like Shivani said. And I think the specific thing that I personally really enjoyed was also having sort of alumni come back and speak, because that kind of gives you an idea of what you can accomplish while at LCF, things that you might have overlooked, like resources and things. So, and it's just generally, I found that really inspiring, and that's kind of what led me in the direction I'm headed in. And other than that, I think also like one-to-one sessions. I mean, I've had so many one-to-one sessions with you, Francis, obviously, and other people from your team as well, which are always so helpful in terms of actually like the business plan itself, in terms of putting me on the right track, but also in terms of just giving me the confidence to move forward and saying, yeah, you know what, like, you're good enough, just go ahead and apply for this challenge. Like, oh, there's this other opportunity, go ahead and do it. And like giving me that kind of confidence as well. And also the one-to-ones with like the in-residence practitioners and the in-residence lawyers and all of these things that otherwise, like, I don't know how I could ever have access to these things, but through LCF, like I have easy access to these things, and they're just completely invaluable. So.
Brilliant. And Cheryl?
Yeah, I agree with what they say, because I participated in some workshop like legal matters. That one really helped me to get to know like the importance of IP, and then how to protect my own IP, and then, you know, how to sort of make the contract works. And also at the same time, yeah, I agree on the one-on-one tutorial is so important, so valuable, because like by not every week, but maybe like once in every 2 weeks, I can see my own progress. And then it's also very valuable to get some critiques even from the tutor. And sometimes, especially for me as an international student, I would feel confused, like I want to build up my business here, but I have some visa barrier here. And then those tutors are being very helpful. They can sort of introduce you to someone who can help you in the school or outside. So never afraid to signing the tutorial and join the workshop.
Brilliant, thank you. Now, we've got some questions that are posted in the chat that I can see, but if anyone wants to post a question or ask a question, you can raise your hand. So I'm just going to work through. It's, can I apply for a part-time job while studying? And that's Rinda. Rinda, the answer is it's it depends what your situation is. So as Cheryl alluded to, as an international student, there are sort of certain visa restrictions on how many hours that you can work in a week. So what I would suggest you do is to relay that question to the student services team, because they'll be able to see what visa you're actually on and then advise accordingly, because it's not a one fit for all approach. And then Nandini is asking, is careers open at this time, or can we talk through email? So our services, the Graduate Futures services, will open again on the 19th of October, which is when the term starts. And in terms of one-to-ones, the enterprise and the careers one-to-ones run 4 days a week. So again, through Moodle, you can look at the days and the time slots and booking accordingly. But again, if you've got any questions, we do have a Q&A drop-in session on both the 5th of October and the 12th of October. We'll be able to send you the links to that, but they will be afternoon sessions, 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock, and you'll be able to ask your sessions direct with a Graduate Futures officer via Moodle Blackboard. Where can I find the CAF form or the Canvas to fill out before one-to-one? Again, these are all on the Moodle page under the Graduate Futures section. So we're just sort of finalising the Moodle. It's really easy to access, but again, if you've got any specific questions, you can refer them directly to Graduate Futures and we can walk you through that before you sort of start your career journey. Oh, they're coming thick and fast here, sorry. Is the Graduate Futures team running the enterprise options for FMP option 3? Kaya, I'm not sure what that means. Sorry, so I don't know what that meant. Final major project option 3. So just to be clear, the Graduate Futures team sit outside of the curriculum, so we don't get involved in any curricular or final major project assessment, but you can tap into our services to help support your final major project sort of outcomes. How can you access legal seminars and training, which you mentioned? So again, come the 19th of October, we will launch our year plan, which will identify all the events, the webinars, the activities that you can access, the dates, the times, the links. So everyone's getting overexcited. This is great, but don't worry, everyone will be kept in the loop, and we'll be walking through and working with the course leaders to also identify these opportunities. And Clarinda's just posted that if you've got any questions, you can email the Graduate Futures team direct and they can answer accordingly. Can first years attend the one-to-one sessions? Absolutely. There's a placement team that can support if you're looking specifically at a placement opportunity, but if it's just sort of looking at internships while you're studying, that's something that we can support in terms of one-to-one consultancy. Oh my God, they're coming thick and fast here. What advice do you have for applicants who have children or caring responsibilities? In your experience, do placements offer some flexibility for applicants for placements in this situation? Does Graduate Futures have support for this body of students? So I'm going to reference Zana in on that. Zana, any input from that?
It really depends on the company about flexibility. We can't impose, you know, companies to be flexible if you have caring responsibility. So that kind of needs to be taken up with the company. However, with the pandemic going on, a lot of companies in terms of placements, a lot of them are doing sort of half working remotely, half working from the office. So I guess obviously we don't know how long the pandemic is going to go on for, but if it does go on for quite some time, I guess you do have that flexibility, but that's something you need to take up with the company. You know, in some circumstances, they may ask you to maybe do 4 days a week instead of 5, or you could negotiate your working hours, so you could come in earlier and then finish earlier, or whatever. But that would be a discussion that you would have with the employer. But I guess because the fashion industry is female dominated, I'm sure they'll have many employees who are in a similar situation as you. So I'm sure they'll be able to work around it one way or another.
Lovely, thank you. And I think Maya has just posted our one-to-ones available throughout the year or only at certain times. No, Maya, they are available throughout the year, so they'll run from October through to July, but I would say that they do get booked up. So again, once you go through the process of maybe looking at the module or looking at a canvas, and then you want to book an appointment, that's the process that will follow. So, my God, that's gone really quickly. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening, but also thank you so much to our panelists for sort of sharing your insights, your knowledge and your expertise. It's been amazing. So, Abhinav, Shivani, Zana, Cheryl and Ashwini, best of luck. You know, the other thing I should say, that once you're an LCF student, you're always an LCF alum, so we also continue to support our alumni with their career ambitions as well. But just on behalf of the wider Graduate Futures team, welcome to LCF. There's never a dull moment. There's lots to do, as you can hear from the presentations, but we're here to support you. That's our role. So no question is a silly question. So any questions that you want to put to the team, please feel free. Hopefully we'll meet in person, but if not for now, we will virtually meet. Good luck all. Great to see you guys, and look forward to catching up again soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Take care.
Thanks,
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.